I'm J.P. Osterman, and this afternoon I'd like to read an excerpt from another one of my novels called Pete's Crossroad. I, first of all, wrote this book as a play called The Man Next to Me, and I just couldn't leave it as a play. I just enjoyed the story so much, and so I wrote Pete's Crossroad. And it's a book about George Gibson, an old man dying of cancer, and Pete Turner, a young, driven sales representative, and they both embark on a journey of atonement and self-discovery when their paths collide on a long bus ride to Albuquerque. Can Pete Turner change his bad boy ways? And in a weakened physical state, how will George Gibson ever be able to make amends to his family? Well, you'll surely enjoy the different and extraordinary people Pete and George meet along their heartfelt journey. And this is chapter 1, or a portion of it, from Pete's Crossroad. Part 1, George Gibson. Chapter 1, Borrowed Time. George opened his eyes to sunlight streaming through the blinds. He heard his 1957 Woolworth alarm clocks tick, tick, smelled coffee wafting in from the motel breakfast area, and popped wide awake when he heard the pitter-patter of children's feet as their parents rolled luggage through the hall. Yawning and sitting on the edge of his bed, he said his morning prayer. God, I hope I make it through another day. I just have to. I got too much to do, and I can't die just yet. Please help me, God. Thank you. Donning his glasses, he read the time. 9:17 a.m. I gotta get moving. Jiggling a cord out of a socket, he stuffed his clock into his carry-on next to his giant suitcase containing everything he owned in the world. Darn clock keeps breaking on me. The alarm was supposed to go off at 7:30. He sat up and stretched. Another day of life. He yawned and smacked his lips, the taste of morning breath bitter. He inhaled and exhaled, imbibing the Santa Monica ocean air as he made his way step by step to the bathroom. Feeling worn out like an old turtle, he grabbed the edge of the sink. Thank God, he lathered up to shave, leaning into the mirror. One more day, just one more day, and I'll be in Albuquerque, he said to his reflection as he flicked a line of gritty cream into the sink. Boy, won't Donnie and the kids be surprised to see me. I'll sure be happy to see them. He felt suddenly downhearted. If I can ever find them all. Standing half out of breath, he tried to remember the last time he had seen his son Donnie. He squinted hard into the mirror, straining to recall Donnie's face. Let me think. He tapped the tip of his razor on the porcelain. Donnie moved away from the farm in Indiana to Chicago in 1976. He nicked himself on a tough curve of his chin. Ah! He swiped off a piece of tissue, licked it, and pressed it on the cut. Then he saw his shaking hands, the swollen joints reminding him again of the little time he had left. Suddenly he heard tick, tick, the sound now coming from his pocket watch inside his suit coat. The time! I'm wasting it! Lumbering over to his jacket, draped over a chair, he steadied himself, grabbed his watch, and opened the glass face. 9:43 a.m. He rushed to see the notice posted on the back of the door. When's checkout time? He remembered the bus was leaving at 2:45 p.m. The Greyhound station half an hour's drive away. Gotta go. He saw his keys in one spot, his wallet across the room on a small table, and his clothes still hanging in the closet. I gotta get out of here. He stumbled around, grabbing them all, clutching them to his chest until he spotted his reflection in the mirror above the desk. He stopped dead in his tracks. Oh my! I'm still half naked, my face splattered with shaving cream and my false teeth missing. He raced to the bathroom, dabbing lather off his chin, spent polygrip on his dentures, thrust his teeth into his mouth, and bit down to secure the fit. Great! He smiled at his reflection. If I were 30 years younger, I'd look like the skipper on Gilligan's Island. Huffing, he began dressing. Each action, from sliding on his socks to tying his shoelaces, felt as if it took minutes. I don't have much time, he gasped, packing his clothes into his giant suitcase and arranging some gifts among his folded shirts and socks. He had 4 wrapped gifts, 3 not big and 1 not too heavy, but all just the right size to fit among his clothes and all his possessions. He had another small carry-on and a cooler he had yet to pack. I have to make sure that if the baggage handler tosses this big trunk into the baggage compartment, all these things won't break. He treated each wrapped gift like china, packing them among his shirts and socks to form a perfect line. Then he fluffed their little shiny Christmas bows. But these little things are going to get crushed. I don't want that. Seeing paper cups on the sink, he covered the bows with them, arranging some clothes in between them to make sure the cups would remain upright and straight. They got to be perfect, so when I give these gifts to Donnie and my grandchildren, they'll look fresh wrapped. Oh, you could see that George is really a man on a last journey and not really knowing where his son and grandchildren are in Albuquerque. You'll be interested to find out who he meets. And of course, it's got to be Pete, as they do meet on a crossroad in Albuquerque.